Marshall said, in New York City right now with so much emotion, so much pent-up excitement. Just for years, this Knicks team, when Jalen Brunson came over in 2022 from the Dallas Mavericks, a lot of people were wondering, is this undersized guard really going to be the answer? He took a massive pay cut to allow the team to build around him, falling short in 2024, falling short in 2025. But this time, it was the Knicks who are the champions. And I do love, we keep coming back to one of the shot, this guy in the Knicks jersey in the white who keeps doing Jalen Brunson celebration. I don't think I've seen him not hold up his jersey like that in the first 23 minutes of our live stream. So a lot of Knicks fans, hey, it's New York City. It's a big media and advertising town. They know where the cameras are. They know how to show off a little bit, especially as they wait for their team. And we are, again, waiting for the Knicks to get on to their buses as these fans who have been waiting since 4 a.m., some of them, most of them for hours. They are patiently waiting, but like we've been saying, it's going to be a cliche by the end of this live stream, but hey, you waited 53 years. You can wait a couple more minutes. Again, just to re-update everybody, if you're just joining us, the Knicks will leave Battery Park, take Broadway, also known as the Canyon of Heroes, today renamed for all of these type of big parades. Then they will enter City Hall. We thought it would be around 11:30, but because we're running a little bit behind, probably closer to noon when they get to City Hall. The team will be presented with keys of the city, and then we will are expecting Alicia Keys to perform, as well as some speeches and remarks from head coach Mike Brown and the rest of the team. And that's always the best part of these championship parades, because these players go through so much in the regular season, especially in a market like New York where the pressure is always high. And when this team had that 2-9 stretch in the middle of the season, there was a lot of doubts that this team could even do anything in the playoffs. But the belief that they had within the locker room amongst themselves really proved, because, again, that comeback Knicks theme coming down from 29 points in Game 4 of the NBA Finals, really almost every single game in this series, they were down double digits, it felt like, and you kind of were expecting the Spurs to, close it out and win. But again, led by Jalen Brunson in the fourth quarter, he's proven to be one of the best closers in this game. And again, this identity of Knicks being hard outs, for lack of a better term, being a hard team to eliminate in the playoffs, they just prove it time and time again. And of course, this is their shining moment. As we are starting to see some vehicles move along Broadway, we do see all those police officers and their motorcycles lined up ready to go. So I'm going to guess that will be our cue on when the buses will be ready to escort out, is once we see those officers get on their motorcycles. Like Marshall was telling us, 10,000 New York City police officers are along the parade route today, the largest in history, largest deployment for NYCPD. Which is pretty impressive considering all the ticker tape parade celebrations that they've had in the city's history, dating back to 1886. The first time that one of these celebrations was held, it was a dedication of the Statue of Liberty. And since then, they have welcomed Olympians, world leaders, American pioneers and heroes, veterans of wars, teams like the New York Giants, the New York Liberty of the WNBA, the baseball giants, the New York Yankees, the Mets, and today, on June 18th, 2026, the New York Knicks have their moment to shine. And I know a few minutes ago, Jeb, we were talking about just how this brand, the New York Knicks brand, is national, right? It doesn't just stay regionalized, because we mentioned the 2026 NBA Finals averaged 20.6 million viewers, highest rating since the Bulls-Jazz Finals in 1998. Compare that to last year, where you had the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. That series averaged 10.3 million viewers across 7 games. Remember, that went to a Game 7. Of course, Tyrese Halliburton tore his ACL and got a severe injury at the end of the first quarter of Game 7. But this was double the ratings. And I get it, it's New York, but a team like San Antonio that has of course had success in decades past with Tim Duncan, Greg Popovich, one of the great teams in the early 2000s. But to double the number just goes to show that New York's brand
And I think it's a testament to a lot of things. I think this NBA championships is the one the league has been waiting for a long time. You know, you had the celebrities, you had Timothée Chalamet, Ben Stiller, and everyone in between showing up at the games, drumming up buzz for the team. You had, I felt like, a massive social media push. If you weren't watching the games late into the night, you weren't up to date on what people were talking about by the quote-unquote water coolers the next morning. I mean, if you didn't see OG Anunoby's tip-in, you didn't experience it. You were left out. So like I felt for myself, I'd be staying up here on the East Coast till 11 p.m. midnight watching these games, watching that final game because you wanted to be a part of it. Combine that with the fact that Wembanyama for San Antonio, credit where it's due, is a generational player, likely the next face of the league, I think a lot of people would say. This was the finals the league was looking for, and for New York City, a city that's been clamoring for a championship for 50 years, multiple generations, to come out with this team that's so likable. You have Karl Anthony Towns, you have Jalen Brunson, you have OG, you have all of these guys that are so fun to watch, so fun to keep up with. You know, it really made for an ultimate story going into what has been a great sports time in this country. So I think it's awesome, and to see these fans come out here and celebrate. You know, you said it earlier when we began the show. They say $1 million. It's going to be more than $1 million.
It's more.
It's going to be maybe $1 million that they can count because they're going to have to stop. Right. So it really is just so fantastic to see this. And as basketball fans, I mean, we're both neutrals in this. That was such a great championship. And yes, you know, obviously the Knicks won so many, but all the games were close. San Antonio was in all of them. So I think that also helped drum up the support because people had to stay till the end. You had to be invested. So it's awesome. It's absolutely fantastic.
And also a great note, as Marshall, our reporter right in New York City, was telling us a few minutes ago, how this is a generational celebration. Again, you know, maybe grandfathers remember those titles in the early 70s, but some younger fathers, people in their early 50s have never seen this, or maybe we're too young to remember. So you have those three generations, as Marshall was telling us, who is a native of the area, grew up a Knicks fan, and he knows better than we do, just how the fandom is passed down through generation. And we've been seeing that on our screen this entire live stream, and we'll see it for the next hour and a half, maybe 4 hours. I don't know how long this parade's going to take because we've been getting some delays, but we're going to be seeing, again, fathers bringing their sons, grandfathers along with them. And speaking of this generational connection, here's your first reminder. Father's Day is on Sunday. Happy Father's Day to Rick Brunson, whose son Jalen just won the NBA title, winning the Finals MVP. Rick Brunson, an assistant on the New York Knicks. Talk about a great Father's Day present. Hey, Dad, I just won the NBA Finals MVP. Should this Knicks parade would be in full swing at 10:30 in the morning on the East Coast? Well, we're a little delayed right now, just hearing about 12 minutes ago that the parade is running behind schedule. For those who are joining us from around the country and don't exactly know what the holdup is, so in these types of parades, we saw the Knicks players, the coaches, their families, they were dropped off by buses. We were assuming they were picked up from Madison Square Garden or from a hotel. They get dropped off into an area to kind of reset and get a layout of what the schedule of the day is going to be. Again, they're going to go down Broadway, or today we will call it the Canyon of Heroes, go to City Hall, where they're expected to be handed keys to the city and some other performances. So we are just waiting for that. It looks like we do have some marching bands, I believe, are also going to be involved, and we are starting to see some folks in the beginning of this parade line up right now. I believe that is a fire truck at the top of your screen, led by some marching bands. I hope those are some bagpipes, because that would be a great scene. We've seen a lot of, World Cup fever so far in America, not to take a tangent away, but bagpipes would be a great way to celebrate this team, as we see those bikers, New York City police officers on the bikes getting ready into position. So hopefully we are ready to go any moment now. But we are keeping you right here throughout the entirety of the parade. Sam Rogers and producer Jeb Goldman, as well as our reporters Marshall Kramsky and Ryan Yee, who are both on the ground. We'll check in with them shortly. And if you missed it, they are starting to drop the confetti, because when we were talking with Marshall It's live TV. Anything can happen. And he got some confetti in his hair and his mouth. And he admitted, he's like, I didn't expect this. I don't know. I've never been to a Knicks parade
it was awesome.
before.
Literally took a beat. It was like this. Oh.
And again, as we start to see the New York City Police Department police band leading the parade route right now.
Look at all those people.
A lot of people. We haven't really seen this mentioned, but if you remember the NBA in-season tournament, now known as the NBA Cup, the championship game in that back in December, New York Knicks beat the San Antonio Spurs. So that was our finals preview a few months ago, and we didn't even know it. And also, the Spurs played the Thunder in the semifinals of that in-season tournament. So a lot of comparisons to the actual Larry O'Brien Trophy. I'm sure the Knicks were happy to win that back in December, but way more happy to be the NBA champions and literally parading Larry O'Brien around their home fans today. All right, we have riders up. We got some riders up. New York City police officers getting ready on their motorcycles to lead everybody out. And, as we wait to see the players get onto the buses, this is a good time to just mention the parity in the NBA.
Yeah.
Since 2019, we have had the Toronto Raptors, the Lakers, the Bucks, the Warriors, the Nuggets, the Celtics, Thunder, and then the Knicks. No team has gone back-to-back since the Golden State Warriors. And this is just a new age of the NBA, and we were talking about it in our newsroom about how maybe Jalen Brunson is also changing the way that superstars are handled. Again, when we came on to this live stream, we mentioned how Jalen Brunson came to the Knicks from the Dallas Mavericks 4 years ago, and he took a massive pay cut to allow them to build around him, being able to get Karl Anthony Towns, his old Villanova teammate, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, who, man, oh man, it felt like every 2 minutes when he was on the Toronto Raptors, you thought he was going to be traded or signed somewhere else. Well, they all came together, and this was the year that it flourished, as we have now started to pump some audio in so we can share with you the sights and sounds of this parade. And if you don't hear us talking, that's because we just want you to soak in the natural, emotional atmosphere that will surely be on display. As again, I asked for it. There are some bagpipes. And once we see the players on the buses, we'll cut our mics just so you can hear the fans really give that first reception that a lot of them will have seen their champions in the Canyon of Heroes, 2026 NBA champs, the New York Knicks. So we'll wait. We'll keep you here for just a little bit longer. Looks like everyone is ready to go. And if there was a roof built over Broadway, it's about to be blown off. Looks like we got the go-ahead on the motorcycles. Here come the thoroughbreds. And we have to imagine we do see another alt angle. Buses are lined up, ready to go. And as Marsha was telling us, we are expecting the celebrities who we see not just during the good times, but during the bad times of Knicks seasons. Ben Stiller, Timothée Chalamet, Fat Joe, Spike Lee, of course. We do know Fat Joe is in charge of the hip-hop float. He's got Wu-Tang Clan, Mary J. Blige, I believe, on his bus, so we'll be able to spot all those folks out for you. But most importantly, the players, Coach Mike Brown, and the fans. As we do see, there's Walt Frazier, legendary New York Knick, 1970, 1973 NBA champion. The first time he's actually able to have a parade. I know we keep saying it. The first ticker tape parade in New York Knick history. So Walt Clyde Frazier is finally, 50-plus years later, is able to celebrate. I did notice it looked like he was in the lead car, which I believe since the 1950s, the Grand Marshal, the lead car in these parades, drive a Chrysler Phantom. And there he is. The legendary big man in the early 70s in the NBA. You see him at every game. Even now in 2026. You can even see the police officers taking photos and videos while riding the horses, because this is just such a great day to celebrate. We hope everyone does so responsibly. Within the city, city officials say 1 million people will be there. We are expecting that to be bigger than that, which means there's a lot going on. Flags being waved around. Here come the pipes and drums. See, we keep seeing, if you see people with their hands kind of showing 3 fingers and putting it over their face, they are not mocking the camera. That is Jalen Brunson's 3-point celebration, who is now probably atop the list of most beloved New York athletes in this modern generation. So the fans are going to be doing what they can to emulate their hero, their idol. The bagpipes start to play, and that means the NBA champions aren't too far behind. So we are going to just pump up this audio a little bit once the Knicks make their way around, just so we can give you that on-the-ground emotional experience and what the atmosphere will be like. Several cameras along the parade route that we're able to bounce back and forth from, so you won't miss a second. As here they come. I believe I saw Karl Anthony Towns in the back. Right up front, there's OG, his friends and family smoking those cigars, championship cigars. Music starting to play. OG Anunoby, what a amazing performance he had in the postseason. He and Jalen Brunson actually became the first pair of Knicks teammates to score 30-plus points in an NBA Finals game. That was Game 4 at Madison Square Garden, and that famous comeback win. Slowly begins to push out and get going. Again, we will step away once the fans start to see their heroes, and there's the first bus going through.
Look at the atmosphere there, Sam. I mean, this is so awesome. You see so many cities get opportunities to do this. I mean, I'll keep looking back. I mean, recently there was Arsenal FC in London that had a similar parade. They ended up there's others in there. He's been a vocal advocate for the team as well. That's been a really, really neat thing to see. He's been part of getting the whole city behind them. And just seeing everyone's buy-in on the team, I think there are few things more exciting as a sports fan than when you get to live it with your neighbors, when you really get to see how important a team like this is to the culture of the city. And that's saying something huge, something the size of New York. I mean, it is so important to see the excitement of everybody there. It is just absolutely fantastic. This is the kind of atmosphere that I think players dream of celebrating in, celebrating with. So to see it happen in real time is just so cool.
And we don't have to go that far back in history. There was a time when the Knicks struggled to get these big free agents, and that pressure of winning in New York City, winning in Madison Square Garden, breaking this curse, for lack of a better term, to bring a title to the Knicks franchise seemed a lot daunting and overwhelming. That man knows what it takes. Walt Frazier, again on the 70 and 73, and we do want to mention, of course, one key member of that team, Willis Reed, who was the 1970 and 1973 Finals MVP, the league MVP in 1970. He passed away 3 years ago. Legendary Knicks player in franchise history as Karl Anthony Towns is getting going. And from what we can tell in our vantage point here in the studio, they haven't really hit the parade route yet. This is just them kind of getting out of the Battery Park area in lower Manhattan, and then they will take a left turn up onto the Canyon of Heroes, known 364 days out of the year as Broadway. Or I should say 365 days and 52.9 years, whatever the math is on that. You have to feel for Karl Anthony Towns. Again, such a highly touted prospect coming out of college. Minnesota Timberwolves. He was always the subject of a trade or being the reason why they couldn't be successful. Same when he came to New York. A lot of people were questioning if he was the right piece when the Knicks traded away and swapped out with Julius Randle. Was that a lateral move? As we start to see the first float.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point, Sam. You talk about this Knicks team. You talk about the players that make up this Knicks team. Looking at it now, absolutely, they play so well. Jalen Brunson, when he left Dallas, people didn't see him as a bona fide superstar. They saw him as another good player, a bit player, but not to the degree that he is now. Karl Anthony Towns, he was good in Minnesota, but no one thought he'd be this caliber player on a championship team. Same with Josh Hart. He was very good in New Orleans, but he just becomes an absolute beast in New York. OG Anunoby, he's been fantastic as well, but he was on the Toronto team that won the championship against the Warriors. He didn't play. Yes, he was having some injuries, but they traded R.J. Barrett to get him. R.J. Barrett was a guy who was the face of this team out of college. They had high goals for him. This was a team that's been meticulously put together. And last year, under Tom Thibodeau, we saw the starting five play more minutes than any. They were constantly on the court. Mike Brown comes. They fired Tom Thibodeau, semi-controversially at the time, because they did make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Bring in Mike Brown, who is a great coach, who's got lots of story. People are like, all right, is this the right move? He comes in, brings in more bench players, and kind of reinvents the way the team plays, and they win. So it's just such a great story. It's so awesome, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, because to see that level of risk and those players who have been through so much be rewarded with a championship with their hard work, it's just fantastic and something the city deserves.
And I know we just saw a fathead of Mitchell Robinson, who, believe it or not, the longest tenured Knick, drafted by New York in 2018. So just goes to show how you got to find the right pieces. You got to find the right coach, and when it comes together, this is the result. A parade in front of 1 million+ fans in the heart of New York City. Again, this is the first finals team with no member on the starting five drafted by that franchise. As we see Karl Anthony Towns and OG, they're sharing a float. See the Dominican flag for Cat, a.k.a. Karl Anthony Towns. No Knicks gear for OG, I saw. He's going with the all black, but that's his play style, that's his personality. Calm, cool, collected. You kind of forget he's out there, then you look at the box score and say, oh my gosh, he had 25 points, 10 rebounds, elite defender, and just a perfect part of this Knicks DNA. It looks like we have some microphones on the floats. I'm sure that will be a lot of fun as they get going. Again, we do know Fat Joe, he was making the rounds. I believe he was on ESPN yesterday morning. He said he was in charge of getting the hip-hop float together. So he got members of the Wu-Tang Clan and other New York City artists. There's Mitchell Robinson. Looks like he is about to throw some T-shirts. Again, we haven't really hit the big portion of this route where we can see more and more fans, dozens of people stacked up behind each other. They're just trying to get onto Broadway and enter the Canyon of Heroes. I'm very excited, as I'm sure all you Knicks fans watching this live stream, we appreciate you being with us. We're all waiting to see how Jalen Brunson will be treated. Again, 45 points in the closeout win in San Antonio a few nights ago, scoring 45 of 94 points for the Knicks that night, leaving no doubt that this was a team of destiny. Again, only losing 3 playoff games in their entire run, back-to-back sweeps to get to the finals, beating the Sixers in 4, the Cavs in 4, the Spurs in 5. You have to, again, I know we keep mentioning it, but Karl Anthony Towns might have the most fun out of any person on the planet today. For all he's had to go through, losing his mother, always keeping her in his thoughts before, during, after games. Emotional for him, for every player, and for these fans who have been, again, if you're just joining us, the earliest fans got there at 4 a.m. Okay, I stand corrected. It looks like OG does have a World Champions Knicks shirt on underneath the jacket.
Yeah, a little warm. He had to zip it down.
And there's Mikal Bridges, who again was across town on the Brooklyn Nets. And the Knicks gave up multiple picks. Everyone didn't know what they were thinking to use that much draft capital to bring in a shooting guard who may be a starter, may not be a starter, but again, we mentioned that Villanova connection. He played with Jalen Brunson, played with Josh Hart for the Wildcats outside of Philadelphia, and that chemistry worked out. Also want to point out Dante DiVincenzo, a member of that Villanova team, was also a New York Knick, but now a Minnesota Timberwolves. So fortunately, we will not see him here today, but he is just one of the several players who really helped lay the foundation for this current team, this current roster. As we have a WWE New York Knicks belt, and maybe a potential New York Knicks point guard, that young kid holding up the belt. We'll see him in 2046. Some legends of the Knicks in the past. Again, just if you're joining us, this is right where we see Walt Frazier right here on that lead car. That is where the bulk of the fans will be. Again, what we're watching right now on your screen, that huge bus, they are just trying to kind of get out onto the parade route. It's about a block or two that they have to go before they can turn onto Broadway, known today as the Canyon of Heroes. So we'll pop up that map for you really quick as you are not missing anything. It's the All-City High School Marching Band from New York City is performing right now on our screen. That's what you can hear. But there's that route. So they are starting at the Knicks logo on the left side, going all the way up in that end location. That is City Hall. That is where Mayor Zoran Mamdani will award the team Key to the City. Alicia Keys set to perform. Have to imagine it's Empire State of Mind. Not sure what else. I mean, Girl on Fire is a great song, but I believe Empire State of Mind would fit the vibe of this celebration quite well. And then from there, we really are hoping, and I'm sure we'll soon hear from members of this team thanking the fans. It'll be the classic, they say one sentence, everybody goes nuts. So say another sentence, everyone goes nuts. So that's going to be a very enjoyable part of this celebration. I'm 90% sure that's Josh Hart. Yes, it is, with the cigar in his mouth. And you notice it is a little overcast in New York City, which is probably good on a June day. For all you golf fans, the U.S. Open taking place at Shinnecock, about 90 miles east on Long Island. They had to pause, suspend play for 2 hours because of fog. So overcast in New York City and on the island. But it doesn't matter. Rain, shine, snow, sleet. These Knicks fans were going to come out. And there is the float with Mikal Bridges. Luckily, these floats, for the fans' perspective, if you've ever been to a championship parade, they have the names of the players along each side so fans can know. I believe that was also Tyler Kolek, who was a bench player for the Knicks. went to Marquette. So again, these buses are just kind of taking that corner from where the players and their friends and family were able to safely board in a private area. But I'm very interested to see all the creative places fans will find themselves to get the best look. Climbing scaffolding, out of buildings, on tops of cars. Some very cool custom floats there. For your 2026 NBA champion, New York Knicks, finally getting the parade that they have waited literally forever for. First time the Knicks have had this ticker tape parade celebration, 1970, 1973. No parade. The team did receive the key to the city, ceremonial key to the city in 1973, but no parade. No one really seems to know why. Just doing our research ahead of today's live stream. But man, they got it, and people are going to celebrate it. And I believe as we start to see or players, that's still Karl Anthony Towns. I don't think I've seen him move in the last 10 minutes. He is just soaking it all in, standing right in the middle of the float. Luckily, because Karl Anthony Towns is 7 feet tall, he can look over at everybody. So maybe they told him to stay in the middle of the float and saying, you know, Mr. Karl Anthony Towns, I'm not going to be able to see over you, and everyone can see you. Meanwhile, OG Anunoby just said, I'm going to stand right in front. He's 6'7", too. So I do, along with our reporters on the ground, I do know a couple other people that are there as fans waiting for the parade to come by their location. Going to see if they can give us some boots on the ground reporting, as they've been waiting a long time to celebrate this team. So Landry Shamet and Josh Hart, they are sharing a float. Josh Hart, one of probably the best kind of role players you could possibly have. Great defender, great basketball IQ, knows what to do, has played in big time moments. Of course, winning that title with Villanova in 2016. Really improved his offensive scoring in the playoffs as well. Landry Shamet, a great backup guard.
He had some lights out shooting. He was impressive.
And that's always a key part, especially when your star player is Jalen Brunson, a guard who loves to drive and be aggressive. And if he picks up foul troubles, this Knicks team had no problem going to Jose Alvarado, Landry Shamet, taking over point guard responsibilities if needed. After waiting a little bit more than 30 minutes past the expected start time, the parade is in full swing, though we are waiting for the man of the hour. For 2026 Finals MVP Jalen Brunson, his father Rick Brunson, an assistant coach for the team, will be on that float. Jose Alvarado and Mitchell Robinson together in their float. Again, Jose Alvarado, just like Josh Hart, actually coming to the Knicks from the New Orleans Pelicans. That was this year. Proved to be not, of course, a major, mid-season acquisition or mid-season trade, but it really helped out that depth at the guard position. Again, especially when you have someone like Jalen Brunson, who's not afraid to get physical, despite being quote-unquote undersized. I mean, he's like 6 feet tall, 6'1". But in the NBA, a lot more bigger bodies that you have to go up against. to say that someone on that float had a Patrick Ewing hockey jersey, it looked like, but they're taking off the undershirt. Looks like it's getting a little bit warmer. Jordan Clarkson also on this boat. His back is toward us. There he goes. He must have heard us on our live stream. Wanted to sit up and let people know that he's an NBA champ. So again, as we wait to see more fan reaction and celebration, CNN had an interview with New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani talking about what Marshall, our reporter who is from the New York City area, and he was telling us about how this championship run has really unified the city in ways that not a lot of people could have expected. You know, despite there was, of course, altercations outside of Madison Square Garden with opposing fans, and we don't want to diminish that, but just as a whole, in New York City and for Knicks fans around the country, just being able to come together and celebrate this. Although it was funny, in that interview, Mamdani was asked if Trae Young, who was on the Atlanta Hawks, who really liked to play at Madison Square Garden and mock the Knicks, they asked if Trae Young was still enemy number one for New York City fans, but it looks like that title still goes to Victor Wembanyama, the San Antonio Spurs center. Jeremy Sochan. If you can imagine, it's pretty loud along the parade route. We are going to try to touch base with Marshall as soon as we can, just because it looks like where he was earlier, they have the floats going right by. Having some tech issues, but that's what we can expect. But hey, it's a free-flowing live stream. We really appreciate you tuning in to the New York City celebration 2026 New York Knicks NBA Championship Parade, the first ever parade for the Knicks, despite it being the 210th ticker tape parade in the Big Apple's history. Again, this is the largest ever New York City Police Department response. 10,000 officers on foot in the crowd, by horseback, by motorcycle, by bike. I think we just saw some in ATVs, trying to keep everybody safe, make this a fun, happy celebration. Again, going back to just this Knicks team and their tough mentality and always never out of a game, coming back from down late and having a chip on their shoulder. Back in the middle of the season, you got to give credit where credit is due. The owner of the Knicks, James Dolan, saying, I think we could win the finals. That was after the Knicks were on a 2-9 stretch in the middle of the season. He said, quote, "This is sports. Anything can happen. Getting to the finals, we absolutely have to do. Winning the finals, we should do." That was a team owner on New York's WFAN radio in January. And, well, he called his shot, and it worked out. And it looks like we just saw a different angle of the celebrity float, which we might get to in a moment here. But Timothy Chalamet is, of course, there. Saw him courtside at every game this postseason when he's not filming Dune 3 or any other project he has going on. Here's one of the bigger buses that they've modified for this parade. Every time I watch one of these, I always think what it's like to just be a friend of a friend who got invited to go hang out with the NBA champion, NFL champion, being on their float, having the time of their lives. So there is a portion of the Larry O'Brien Trophy. I believe Karl Anthony Towns has the other half of that. We are going to check back in with Marshall, our reporter, Marshall Kramsky, who has been on scene all morning. Get him in a few minutes as he's able to experience this parade. The bus floats are going by him. He's able to experience not just as a reporter, and we thank him for being out there with us on this live stream, but also as a New York fan. So he has some added context that he can provide. And once we can see him in our little box that he's ready to go, we'll get to him. And looks like where he is positioned right now, we should get some action behind him too. So we'll just give an early heads up in case anyone says anything a little of a graphic nature. This is a live stream. It's raw. It's real. And it's the first Knicks championship in 53 years. So it's typically how it goes. Looks like Jordan Clarkson's phone is plugged into the speaker there. So they are having a great old party. I believe I saw from the New York City's officials and all their messaging about trying to make sure everybody knows what subway lines are down, what stations will be closed, what roads will be closed. I believe they said about 5 or 6 marching bands in attendance in this parade and at the City Hall celebration, which was expected to begin around 11:30. But if you're just joining us, the parade, which was scheduled to begin at 10, was delayed by about 30 or 40 minutes. So we will keep you going with all the latest visuals that we see until they get to City Hall and that ceremony. If you're just joining us, we are expecting Zoran Mamdani to award the team a ceremonial key to the city. Alicia Keys expected to perform, most likely Empire State of Mind, that famous song with Jay-Z. Very New York focused, played at Madison Square Garden after wins. And that song came out on the heels of the... Oh, there he is. The man of the hour, Jalen Brunson, your finals MVP. The hero, the captain of this team. And he has soared up the all-time New York sports icons list, certainly in the modern generation. But the man who broke the drought is here, and we are going to be following his float very closely. There's Tracy Morgan on the front of Jalen Brunson's float. Looks like the captain got upgraded. Might be the only player on his bus with Larry O'Brien trophy. So Karl Anthony Towns must have the Eastern Conference Championship trophy with him. And that's the NBA Cup trophy again. As we mentioned a few minutes ago, the New York Knicks beat the San Antonio Spurs on December 16th to win the NBA Cup, that in-season tournament. What we didn't know then was it was a preview of the finals. The Knicks 2-0 in those situations.
obviously now we've seen Brunson's bus. We assume that he's probably the final player being rolled out, just given everything surrounding him and what he's contributed to this team in his years here. So just reminding folks that they are on their way to City Hall, where they will be speaking along with city officials, giving those speeches. And it really should be a beautiful moment in New York's history. This is something they've worked so hard for, and I think it's really telling to show just how passionate these fans are for every player, whether or not it is Jalen Brunson or somebody who rode the bench for him. Like, they just want to see and support these guys, show what their contributions have meant to them. It's a really special moment for all involved, and I think you can see it on the faces of every single fan who is there, and that's something that I think you can't really take for granted. Being a sports fan, winning a championship, and Sam mentioned it earlier, the parity in the NBA. Yes, you want to do it again, but I think Oklahoma City is a testament. If you look at that team last year that beat Indiana, you would have thought they were going to win the next 5. That's what everybody's been saying for a long time. This year, obviously, they lose to the Spurs, who now you think maybe they're up next with Victor Wembanyama. So I think all of these Knicks fans, having waited, many of them their whole lives, all of them their whole lives for this parade, are savoring this moment, because you never know when the next one's going to come. And I think it's a true testament to the value of this championship to see the way this entire city is rallying.
Just a few minutes, our reporter Marshall Kramsky will join us once again live from the parade route. We can see in his shot he's got some great background. The floats are going to be going right behind him. As we can see, there he is, Ben Stiller, New York Knicks superfan. He was there during the rough years, there during the title run. We saw him go to almost every single game, sitting courtside. He was in Cleveland and Philly, of course, in San Antonio. I don't know what it says on that shirt, but it looks like it's a graphic tee of, not graphic meaning inappropriate, but like a graphic t-shirt with Karl Anthony Towns. And knowing Ben Stiller, it's probably going to be pretty funny. So we'll have to see if he gives us, Ben, if you can hear us, we would love to see what that shirt looks like. I can't even pretend to guess. But it just goes to show how, and we've talked about this, Jeb and I, in our newsroom, about how this celebrity culture is really a main aspect of the Knicks. And it has been for years, even when they've been underperforming without big-name superstars. You know, these people are New York Knicks fans. They go to show out. And I know some other fans from around the country maybe get a little annoyed by, Celebrity Row, always seeing them on screen. But they clearly play an important role to the culture because, hey, they're on a float for the championship parade, and we are not. It's also very cool if you are tuning in from around the country and if you've never had the privilege and opportunity to go to one of these parades. It's very funny because a lot of these individual buses, like we've seen with different speakers, so it's almost as if every 30 to 60 seconds as we see New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani, New York Governor Kathy Hochul, as well as some other city and state officials on that bus with OG Anunoby, But these parades, when each bus or float has their own speaker, and they're moving so slow, of course, to give fans the time to wave and to cheer and maybe throw some beverages up to the players. We haven't seen much of that yet, which is good. But it's a different, atmosphere almost every 30 to 60 seconds, which can make it a lot of fun as a fan. So if you're wondering, seeing how many people there are, how much of a logistical challenge it was probably to get there, to leave there, why would people go? Well, this is why. You grow up supporting a team for your whole life, and you get to stand 10 to 50 feet away and all celebrate with your city, with fans of your favorite team. And this will be an experience all these people will not forget. And I believe I just saw a woman in one of that bus had a Carmelo Anthony jersey, one of the great Knicks in recent memory, unable to get a championship. But he was one of those guys that don't know if laid the foundation is the right term, but when a lot of other star NBA players did not want to go to New York and play at MSG, he was there, and that's a lasting image. As we see, I believe this is the coaching staff, which it said coaching staff in huge letters on the bus, so I'm proud I was able to see that one. So Mike Brown, as we mentioned, what a career he has had. Winning an NBA title as an assistant for the San Antonio Spurs, Golden State Warriors, was the coach of the year when he was the head coach for the Kings, coming here and delivering a championship in year one after his 12th season in the NBA. And are we ready to go to Marshall? We are. So enough of us talking about what's happening along the parade route. Marshall Kramsky is there. Marshall, last time we heard from you, the fans were already getting excited, but now that the parade has started, please describe what's going on.
It's pandemonium. That's the only way to put it. It's so much excitement. I got champagne on me. I have confetti on me. It's incredible out here. We just saw Jalen Brunson go by with his NBA Finals MVP trophy. His dad, Rick Brunson, one of the assistant coaches, on that floor with him. Ben Stiller just went by, the Hollywood actor and superstar director. He went by too, signing autographs. We've seen so many players go by. Here's another float. Each float, it seems like, has one or two players, their families, and even more. I don't see who's on this float right now as far as players go. But there's a lot of, it's McDaniels is on the float. There's a lot going on. So much excitement. Every time a player goes by, the chants just get louder and louder, especially when you get to one of the key players like Deuce McBride. Even when he went by, he had the Deuce chants. We heard Jose Alvarado, the Jose, so much. And then forget it, when the big names, Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, the lid came off of Manhattan. Confetti is everywhere. I never seen New York City like this. I hear it's getting louder again behind me. That must mean a big name is coming soon. It is, I know I keep saying the cliche thing, I've never seen anything like this, but I'm saying it because it's real. I've never seen New York City this excited about an event.
And Marshall, when we spoke with you a little while ago, you brought up this great point about how Knicks fandom has passed through generations. What have you seen? What emotions have you seen from fans now that the parade and everyone's favorite players are coming by?
I think that people are going to need to go get checked out by doctors after this because of the bruising on their arms. Kids squeezing their parents' arms. It's so exciting. Obviously joking about the bruising, but the excitement is unbelievable. Looking at generation to generation, them hugging, jumping up and down. And what's really special is all the players, or for the most of the players, they're on those floats with their families and they're dancing with them. Not just Jalen Brunson and his dad, Rick Brunson, who's a coach, but we saw Karl Anthony Towns on his float with his father, the two of them having a cigar and raising the NBA Cup trophy, which was the trophy they won in the middle of the year. The families are all around. This is definitely a family event for the New York Knicks, which is something that you can't always say when it comes to championship parades.
And Marshall, we've been having some unbelievable visuals of the fans. I actually just had my college roommate He sent me, he's a block off Broadway right now, about 1,000 people in front of him. He can't even see the parade. Just how chaotic is it right now?
I had friends reach out to me. They were there at 5 o'clock in the morning trying to get in for a 10 o'clock parade, and they didn't get in. It's absolutely insane. Because of where our vantage point and having to have the media is, we can't really get through those crowds, which is a good thing for our safety. But if you look at these crowds in Battery Park and across the way in the financial district of New York City, there's no moving. If you're standing there, you're standing there for the next few hours. It is as tightly packed as could possibly be, which is part of the reason the parade was delayed a little bit.
Yeah, that'll explain it when, a million plus people are trying to get into a few block area. Marshall, we really appreciate your time. Enjoy the parade. We'll check in with you very soon as we get kind of a recap. But that's Marshall Kramsky live for us on the ground along Broadway, along this Knicks parade route. Marshall, we'll see you very soon. All right, we are back to the parade. We thank Marshall and our crews for giving us the boots on the ground experience. And I know I just mentioned it, but apologies to Marshall. I was looking at my phone because my college roommate, who's in the city right now, he says it's, quote, "It's insane. You can't get any closer. I'm a block off Broadway." And he sent me a photo, and I'm estimating hundreds of people. And that's one block off the parade route. As Marshall said, folks were getting there 4 or 5 a.m. just to get in the pens. The pens were full by 9 a.m., meaning people were leaving hours before the expected start time at 10 a.m. And we know our station in Hartford, Connecticut was live in Union Station in New Haven, interviewing Knicks fans traveling in the early morning from Connecticut. As we see, big Patrick Ewing, he is coming in on the parade as well. That's the first shot we've seen of that Knick legend. Very cool to speak with Marshall Jebb as a New York fan, a Knicks fan, because you can just hear the excitement in his voice, which is why this is such a fun assignment. I'm sure he volunteered for it. And it looks like really quick, Jalen Brunson is going mobile. He's got the trophy, and that's his famous hand celebration that if you were wondering why so many fans that we've shown were doing that, it's because of their favorite player, the captain, Jalen Brunson. Again, we are coming up on almost 90 minutes into our live stream. Sam Rogers, producer Jeb Goldman here. We really thank you for streaming on your local station app, wherever that may be, whether you're a Knicks fan and you're a third-generation Knicks fan or just want to check out to see the craziness in the Big Apple. We appreciate you choosing our coverage. Spent a lot of great camera angles, different shots where we've been getting a lot of action. I saw Timothée Chalamet for about 2 seconds on one of our other feeds, so if you are tuned in to see him and maybe get a glimpse at his significant other, we'll have to wait and see. And there he is, Spike Lee. I would say the super fan of all super fans for the Knicks. That man suffered some brutal teams, bad moments, bad breaks in playoff series. And there's Ben Stiller documenting it all. Both of them have been with this team. And if you're wondering what that big crowd is, that is where Jalen Brunson is with the trophy.
Yeah, you can see it.
You can see the trophy shining.
That's
so,
cool.
Again, despite Jalen Brunson being listed as 6'2", we can spot that trophy from the helicopter shot way up in the sky. That is very cool to see. It just really shimmer. Ben Stiller's getting some more shots for his Knicks documentary that he's working on with his iPhone. It's also pretty cool that every band we have seen, it looks to be student-led, whether it's a high school or Boys and Girls Club. So what a moment for these kids You'd have to imagine most, if not all, basketball Knicks fans 20 years from now, as we see that trombone player, that's a trombone, taking a selfie, like, hey, did you ever go to that Knicks parade back in 2026?
As a matter of fact.
As a matter of fact, my trombone and I made it on the live stream. Get back to some more player, fan, and a lot of what's also really cool is for those who are just maybe new to the NBA, but these championship parades, they also allow the team staff to take part in this parade, which is maybe what we're seeing here kind of after the players. But that goes to the G League. The Westchester Knicks are the Knicks G League affiliate. So the people who work around the clock selling tickets, concessions, communications, the people who get all that video, the social media crew, though video and social media crew, they are probably working a long day today. But just having the ability for the whole franchise, the whole organization, from the owner through those ticket salesmen, women, everyone is celebrated. Everyone gets to go to the parties and the parade. So it's very cool, especially in the NBA, right? Where you think the NFL, you have 53 players. You have another 12 on the practice squad, dozens of coaches and families. But here in the NBA, when you have 15 players, you're able to include everybody involved in the organization, from the preseason workouts, as we do see Carmelo Anthony, right as we fade away from him, but Carmelo Anthony, New York Knicks great, was just seated there. Patrick Ewing once again. Nice shot of him giving a high five. Patrick Ewing, born in Jamaica, came over and played high school at Cambridge Latin, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Famously, the #1 pick in the NBA draft, 1985, after going to Georgetown. Played on the Knicks from 1985 to 2000. 2000. Right on the nose. So we've seen all the players, coaching staff, those celebrity fans, as well as former Knicks greats. They've already passed us by, so it looks like this is just more marching band and other celebratory groups kicking off their parade route as we approach 11:30 here on the East Coast. 2026 New York Knicks Championship Parade. We are expecting them to get to City Hall sometime in the near future. Of course, delayed by about 30 or 40 minutes. Originally scheduled to show up at City Hall right around this time, so probably around noon. Again, that's when we will have the opportunity to hear from the players, from Coach Mike Brown, from city officials, as they get to enjoy the first ever New York Knicks parade along the Canyon of Heroes on Broadway. And there's the mascot. Just saw New York Governor Kathy Hochul posted a video on social media thanking Jalen Brunson for bringing joy back to the state. That just goes to show what this team means, not just to the city, but the whole state of New York, and of course the surrounding suburbs in New Jersey and Connecticut, filled with Knicks fans. I know several. Josh Hart is getting the crowd involved a little bit. Now, this is a great angle of this camera shot here where we can see just how deep back those fans are going. It looked like 7 to 10 rows deep on that one side. And again, the New York City Police Department has done a great job so far of being able to keep everybody safe, keep everybody in the same location. They have those pens for fans, and those were full at 9:17. more than an hour before the parade even began. Again, city officials expecting more than 1 million people to be on hand. But once we get to City Hall, you will see fewer fans because that is a ticketed event. Not sure exactly what the capacity is, but it'll be certainly less than 1 million people, I can promise you that. And again, that's where we are expecting Alicia Keys to perform, as well as some remarks from city officials and, most importantly, the team. And it looks like, just saw New York 1, Spectrum News in New York, posted a video. A couple, they've been engaged for 53 years and just said, "I do," wearing Knicks gear, so that's pretty cool. There's going to be a lot of stories like that coming out today of Knicks fans using this celebration to celebrate other things. Surprised we haven't seen a live wedding proposal yet.
Oh, I'm sure there have been tons.
Yeah, we just haven't. Our cameras are just too focused on the actual.
Right, among the 1 million people, I would love to know the amount of proposals, all of the things that today's celebration is going to facilitate. I'm sure there's going to be lots. I'll say I'm reading the story about the 53-year-old or 53-year engagement. That's amazing.
So will they did they get engaged the last time the Knicks won?
Yes, I guess so. Sure. She's in a blue and orange Knicks-themed wedding dress. He has his Knicks T-shirt on. So I think that's a true testament to what this means for the people of New York. I imagine there are a lot of people who are feeling similarly, but I don't know if they put up with a 53-year wait. But I'm glad that wait is no more.
Knicks player is able to hop off the bus, go celebrate with their fans on the streets. And as a reminder, these buses can't go extremely fast with how many people are on top. So we do see some pauses, make sure the buses don't get too close to each other. Starting to see more and more confetti in our different camera shots as we cycle through. And great timing there. You can see it all lined up on the side of the road. The Knicks dancers performing as well as we are getting closer and closer to City Hall. 2026 New York Knicks Championship Parade. We appreciate you for streaming. We'll be with you throughout the entirety of this celebration. Well, I should say not the entirety, because this celebration will continue through tonight and probably through the weekend. We'll just take you through the entirety of the parade celebration. Another good shot just to show how many fans are lined up. If you look on the left side of your screen, just the depth of all those people along the fences. And this doesn't even show the tens of thousands of fans who couldn't get into the parade, who are just off of Broadway or watching at different restaurants or bars if they open. I'm sure they have. And there is Jalen Brunson and Rick Brunson. Jalen's dad, assistant coach for the Knicks. And what a start to Father's Day weekend for the Brunsons. Able to celebrate this championship parade on a Thursday, Father's Day on a Sunday. And I do know I saw Josh Hart, one of Brunson's best friends. After the season was over, he posted on social media asking where he could start playing golf. Well, the U.S. Open invited Josh Hart and the rest of the Knicks to head over to Shinnecock on Long Island to watch the U.S. Open, just 90 miles east from Broadway, where this parade is happening. Golf's third major of the summer, taking place right now. The golf was actually suspended for 2 hours this morning, so I was a little worried that the bad weather would impact the celebrations here for the Knicks, but luckily it was just fog, and they are back playing at Shinnecock. So we're back with this beautiful wide shot on the corner of Murray and Broadway, as we can start to see some raised bleachers, providing more opportunity for Knicks fans to gather and celebrate their team. Jalen Brunson once again, the man of New York. It'll be a really interesting debate with your friends or family. Who's the most popular New York athlete right now? I think it's that man, Jalen Brunson. So if you are joining us and really excited to hear those remarks at City Hall from city officials, especially the players, and that Alicia Keys performance, we can just see on our end through different angles that the parade is starting to get to City Hall. We've seen some other locations where, if you've been with us all stream, where we checked in with Marshall Kramsky, it looks like everyone is starting to file out where he was, and he was towards the beginning of the parade route. And we'll get a great recap with him in just a little bit, as he was able to experience those floats going by him. It looks like only about, 50 or 100 feet away from him, as he's been doing live hits all morning. So he's is the perfect expert to talk to about what this whole day has been like, from the overnight hours, like he said. The celebration started around midnight into the early mornings of people lining up more than 6 hours before the parade started, to seeing these buses pull right by, and then maybe we'll catch him when his adrenaline has dropped down and he can kind of relive what that was like. There's Landry Shamet, I should say, excuse me. This is a cool bus right here. 2 buses. Looks like this is maybe, again, like we were talking about a few minutes ago, about how NBA organizations are really allow the whole number of employees from all different divisions and departments within the organization to celebrate. We do have a brief pause for these big buses. Now they get on the move once again. And we'll just bow out for a minute or so, pump up the sound, and let you enjoy as we wait for the Knicks to get to City Hall. On cue, we just have a little issue with that camera shot. As we can see, Marshall is in our left corner on the screen. We're going to be checking in with him in just a little bit. Just, if you don't mind dealing with us. About 90 minutes into the stream, and that was the first issue we had with internet and connection. I will take that as a win, because 100% of the time when there's this many people, normally something like this happens. So we appreciate you sticking with us there for a second, but we're just going to pump up the natural sound a little bit, let you enjoy it, and if anything big happens, and of course before they get to City Hall, we will pipe back in and give you some updated information. joining the live stream to provide some commentary. We just wanted to catch up and see if there's anything else that is important to share about this parade, about this team, about this city celebration. Sam Rogers, producer Jeb Goldman with you now. We really appreciate you live streaming from for wherever you are along the entire country. We're just making sure we get the audio all situated. We are ready to rock. The Knicks players and coaching staff approaching City Hall as we really have entered the heart of this parade, and just a beautiful camera shot there showing how many fans are packed along Broadway. And we did just see on CNN, who interviewed some fans, they started lining up at 2:30 this morning. That's an 8-hour wait from when they showed up until when the parade officially began. So it just goes to show the dedication of these Knicks fans. It's been 53 years, and they were going to wait those 8 hours. Also did see, while we were giving you some play-by-play of what we're seeing on all of our camera angles, that New York Knicks team owner James Dolan said that the team will visit the White House, as is customary for every professional and, at this point, collegiate sports champion, regardless of the sport. No date on when that would happen. As we see back on the float, Jordan Clarkson. Mizzou grad, now an NBA champion. We saw earlier, it looked like it was his phone connected to the speaker that's on his bus. So Jordan Clarkson also in charge of the aux responsibilities, making the playlist. Either that or he took someone else's phone and said, I'm going to make
I would
the
say
musical playlist.
either one is possible. It was definitely his influence.
I mean, you win an NBA title, I think you can queue up songs on
You can get
Spotify
off.
for your championship parade. Going back to the Jalen Brunson float with his family, very close family. You always hear Brunson, whether it's in the off season or during the season, after big moments, talking about how important family is to him. He has his dad, Rick Brunson, as an assistant coach. And in the back on that float, there's Spike Lee. You got the captain of the Knicks on one side, the captain of the Knicks fandom on the other. That would be a great float to be on. I'm sure the fans, they've been patiently waiting to see those two, Spike Lee, especially Jalen Brunson. The captains on a few different sides of this Knicks organization and the brand. It's always really cool to see the Larry O'Brien trophy out because of how just shiny it is. You can see the reflection of the building next to where the photos are being taken. Looks clear as day from on our screen.
It does kind of look like the weather's improved a little bit. It looks like a perfect day for a championship parade. I mean, in New York City, in the middle of June, you really are rolling the dice with what you're going to get. This is perfect. You see people comfortable, having a great time. I mean, this is a textbook, picture-perfect parade. It really has been. And exactly what I think the rest of the league is watching right now, wishing that theirs would look like this next season, hopefully, when things tip off.
And I believe that was Monica McNutt holding the trophy. She's the primary analyst for the Knicks radio team, also there to celebrate. And, of course, Mike Breen, longtime Knicks play-by-play announcer. The rest of the country knows him as the voice of all ESPN primetime NBA games. So as a fan, you have to feel for Mike Breen growing up as a Knicks fan, going to Fordham in New York. and then being able to not just witness but be on the call for the New York Knicks winning their first title in 53 years. The first that he could probably remember was just young Mike Breen when they won in 1970 and 73. Also, I know we mentioned Monica McNutt there. Tyler Murray, the play-by-play for the radio broadcast. That was actually his intern a number of years ago, so congrats to Tyler. New England fan, ended up in New York City, but it worked out, I would say. Again, we are waiting for the parade to finally make its way to City Hall. We expect Mayor Zohran Mamdani to award the team ceremonial key to the city, as well as some musical performances and speeches from the players. Looked like Jalen Brunson needed some help to get back on his bus from teammate Jordan Clarkson, but that's what teammates are for.
Based on my experience covering championship parades, it would appear that this is kind of the final stint before they rush them off the buses, get them to City Hall, and begin the speech process. So this being the last part of the parade that fans without tickets to the City Hall event will be able to enjoy those players, giving those fans as much time with them as they can get, really savoring this moment and taking it all in. I think you can see those fans' faces in the stands as they get these final glimpses of the players out there among them and really taking it all in. I think everyone in New York feeling the gravity of this situation, how it's about more than basketball, it's the culture of the city. It's really neat to see those reactions in live time, from the kids to the adults. Like there's everything. It's fantastic.
Like Jeb correctly pointed out, the celebration at City Hall is a ticketed event. So if you're wondering why there aren't insane swarms of fans, that is why. And I know the New York City hosted some public ticket lotteries, and that probably sold out in 20 seconds. I saw a report after the Knicks won on Fanatics, which is the official retailer of NBA championship gear. 8,000 orders were placed per minute when the Knicks officially clinched the title and that championship gear was released on the website. So that just goes to show the demand, not just in New York City, but the entire state and around the country. Again, as Jeb pointed out, coming a bit to a stalling and a holding pattern as everyone has to get reorganized. Of course, so many people between the players, the families, friends. Gotta have to get them off the bus, relocated, and safely get them inside the confines of the City Hall ceremony. And apologies if you hear our computer keyboards clicking in the background. We just want to make sure we are providing you with the most up-to-date information we can find. We have a lot of access to different screens and different camera angles along the parade route. We want to provide as comprehensive of a live stream broadcast as we can, because it's been 53 years since the New York Knicks have been able to celebrate, and their first time celebrating in this true New York City way. The ticker tape parade, the confetti on the ground along Broadway, the Canyon of Heroes. The route has celebrated world leaders, pioneers, past American heroes, war veterans, Olympians, and for the first time, the New York Knicks. If you want to know and stump your friends with a trivia question, the first ever ticker tape parade in New York City history was to dedicate the Statue of Liberty in 1886. That was the first. Today marks the 210th. If you're just joining us or have joined in the last few minutes wondering about the lack of movement from the parade buses, just to give you a recap, around 10:35 is when the parade officially kicked off. They've been on the Canyon of Heroes for the last hour or so, and just in the last 10 minutes, we have seen things starting to slow down a little bit as they get closer to City Hall. Again, these buses go slow on purpose. That way the fans can have as much time as possible to cheer, to wave, to celebrate. And then they will be going to a much smaller area for that City Hall ceremony. But it's very cool to see, Jeb, just the different buses and floats that they're using. Like right now we have the big bus of New York drive by, but then you see the more traditional parade floats that some of the players are on. And they've been waiting to use them, that's for sure. And this is a cool shot here just to show fans throwing confetti, toilet paper. We got the District 31 marching band. Again, we were saying a little while ago, very cool to see all the high school and other student-led bands and performers being involved in such an important day. Oh, we're going to have to back up a little bit. They're slowly backing up while playing. Very impressive there from District 31. And what a moment it has to be, whether you're an older Knick fan and you have clear memories of Willis Reed and Walt Frazier in the 70s, or if you were born in the early 2000s. Finally, all these generations of fans, after years of heartbreak, poor roster management, question mark after question mark, able to come together on on a Thursday in June in New York City. We're watching around the country. Unity, that has been the theme. We have heard time and time again. Marshall Kramsky, a reporter who is from the New York area, we've been checking in with him all morning, and that's the theme that he wanted to stress, speaking with fans there around him along the parade route. Generations of Knick fans celebrating together within their family and within the larger family that is the New York Knick fandom. We also saw that in remarks from the city's mayor, Zoran Mamdani, talking about how this Knicks run has really unified the city. Marshall made a great point. You have the Knicks on baseball, you have the Yankees and the Mets, the Giants, the Jets in football, the Rangers and Islanders, and of course there are the Brooklyn Nets, but if you've ever been to New York City, you know that the Knicks dominate more than any other team does when they have a great season and make a great playoff push. There's some great audio here. District 31 band playing something you'd hear at Madison Square Garden during a timeout, maybe during the Big East tournament. This is a much classic college band song. Fans getting involved, screaming, "Let's go Knicks." As you can see, the band is playing, the buses ain't moving. We are in a holding pattern here along the Canyon of Heroes. Looks like based on that sign, couldn't get an exact address for all you New York natives who are wondering where we are. So this might be one of the more fortunate areas for fans if they showed up at this intersection, because everyone's kind of waiting to go through so you get more time with the players.
This is pure conjecture here because I haven't seen them and I don't know where they are. But given that the last time we saw the players really on this feed was them getting on the floats again, it may mean that they're getting whisked away to their next stop. Obviously, there's been lots of interesting things in the parade, like the band and the fans interacting with everyone, throwing toilet paper and confetti. But there is reason to believe that this long break is the final stretch before we reach that next part of this celebration, which is very exciting for all involved, and we really bring it to you here.
Of course, if we see anything on some different camera angles that you won't be able to see on your screen, but we have the ability to track all kinds of things. So if we start to see that at City Hall, players are moving into formation, we will of course let you know, keep you updated on what you can expect coming your way. We are going to check in with Marshall in about 5 minutes or so. Not as exciting of a backdrop for Marshall, our field reporter, who's been live all morning. This time, though, if you're with us about 30 minutes ago, the floats were actively going by him. Right now, they are cleaning up the trash left behind. But he'll be able to give us a great recap. He has been there along the parade route all morning, overnight. He said the celebration really started at midnight, heading into this all-day festival. And as Jim correctly pointed out, just getting all these players and coaches, ushered safely into City Hall. I'm sure they have a holding area for all the families, for them to get in line and figure out who's going to stand where, who's going to speak first. Not that I don't think the players care that much. They're just excited to be able to have this day, this moment. Also, while we're waiting, I saw yesterday the Children's Museum of Manhattan hosted a ticker tape parade for kids yesterday afternoon. So that way the little ones around the city were able to celebrate, and mom and dad could bring them to the museum and not, bring their young kids to the chaos that is a million-plus people parade during the day in New York City. Band directors look like they are having a blast. Ooh, nice little spinning kick like Michael Jackson there. Again, we are in a holding pattern. You are not missing anything in terms of any movement or developments at the City Hall celebration. Looks like the last few floats are coming in. So you can see right there on the right side of your screen it says community. So that is just an extra float. It could be Knicks team employees or some partners that they have within the New York City area to help promote and facilitate with game day operations, other community events. And they are probably having as good a time as Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns and the rest of the Knicks. All right, so we've been talking about our reporter, Marshall Kramsky, who's been live for us all morning. He himself has been along the parade route for hours and hours, but we're going to join him right now. Marshall, about 20 minutes ago, your scene was active. Now that things have calmed down just a little bit, can you give us a summary of what this day has been like up until now at noon Eastern?
It feels like it's been 10 days, but it's been incredible. Getting up early, walking down, and already we were out of the hotel before 5 o'clock in the morning, and the streets were already packed with Knicks fans and police officers, and that's why so many people who got in at 5 o'clock in the morning earlier tried to get in, couldn't get in. Millions of people saw the parade, but even so, they couldn't handle the capacity, or they could handle it. That's why they didn't let everyone in. And the anticipation started high in the morning, and the excitement just built and built and built. And then finally, when the players and the support staff buses came before they got on the floats, every time just the cheers were deafening loud. And you heard a lot of people talk about it. they thought it was raining, but it was really just the confetti coming down. They're not used to that, Knicks fans, having confetti fall down on them in a parade. Scaffoldings had people on them, which it probably isn't safe and probably shouldn't have happened, but so many people that you couldn't even go through. They just started climbing up onto the scaffolding on top of a subway station just to get a glimpse of their favorite players from current and history. And celebrity fans, we saw Timothy Chalamet, we saw Ben Stiller, we saw Tracy Morgan, just watching them celebrate and celebrating with their fellow Knicks fans. It was really an unbelievable sight to see.
And Marshall, we've been able to see all these different camera angles from along the parade route, but you are actually there. You've been there. What's something that we at home streaming this coverage, what's something we won't be able to know, but you think is really important to kind of paint the picture of what the atmosphere has been like all morning?
You know when you go to events and it seems like everyone is kind of on their phone checking their messages? The only time I saw phones at all was them pointed directly to try to get a photo or a video of the event happening. For a parade, everyone was tuned in and enjoying themselves. It was really just a camaraderie, happy celebration, people of all ages watching, from all demographics, all backgrounds, just gathering in one place to celebrate something that's never happened before, and that's a New York Knicks championship ticker tape parade. As we've mentioned multiple times throughout this broadcast, yes, the Knicks have won the championship before. It's been 53 years, 1973, but they never had a ticker tape parade. So they made up for all those years with this one celebration. And the other thing that I think was important to note that I don't know if you were able to see on the broadcast is these Knicks fans were, especially when it came to the chants, they were pretty much on the same page. One person started, and next thing you know, all of downtown Manhattan, all of lower Manhattan could just hear the same chant. Knicks in 5, Knicks in 5, go New York, go New York, go. It was really a cool thing to see.
And Marshall, I know you've been telling us all morning how you're from that area. You know what the sports rabid fandom is like. So for you personally, did you ever expect to have this celebration and to see a Knicks title run unify the city like it has?
No, because when I grew up, there was no such thing as a good Knicks team. Yeah, the late 90s, but after that, well, Carmelo Anthony, one season, they got a good seed, but the Knicks were the joke. They were the team that never got over the hump. They were the team that maybe made it late in the playoffs if you were crazy lucky. They won in the first round. We had Lynn's sanity when Jeremy Lin came up for a couple weeks and was incredible, this undrafted guy who played at Harvard. You would have thought they won the NBA Finals then because the Knicks fans would steal moments. But now they have a moment worthy of a celebration. So to answer your question, the shorter way than the long way I just did it, no, I never thought I would see this in my lifetime.
Well, we appreciate your honesty, Marshall. And really quick, before we let you go, because you've been doing an amazing job for us all morning, I'm sure that it's been one of the easiest assignments you've had in terms of, volunteering for it. What are some other takeaways our viewers should know? Just something we can't see. Has everybody been respectful? It seems like it, but you've been there.
I think that the city, for the most part, did a pretty good job. Over 10,000 NYPD officers really making sure everybody was safe. The sanitation workers already getting to work. There was confetti everywhere. 650 sanitation workers making sure that the city is cleaned up afterwards. I think the other big takeaways is just kind of what I was mentioning before about the happiness and excitement, and also New Yorkers being New Yorkers, climbing on a scaffolding just to get a glimpse of their Knicks players in a champagne shower, smoking a cigar, hoisting a trophy. I think the one thing that's different being here as opposed to watching it on TV is the energy in, I would say the room, but it's really just New York City. The energy is at a different level than I've experienced.
Well, as they say, Marshall, to the victor go the spoils. We really appreciate your time being with us. We hope you're able to celebrate a little bit more while you're in the city. Marshall Kramsky, thank you so much as we are waiting again for the team to get to City Hall. Should be there very soon. again, we really appreciate Marshall, who's been giving us some great insight as a fan, as someone who's just been there and being able to tell us what we can't experience, because for live streams like this, these big events, it's so valuable to have somebody providing that analysis from right there. And he had a great location. So we really appreciate Marshall's help, especially being a Knicks fan. That doesn't hurt, him being able to kind of relive some of those really tough Knicks teams. Jeremy Lin, like he mentioned, the way Knicks fans were celebrating that, he was right. It was like they won a title, when in reality they won a regular season game in February with Jeremy Lin. So now this is the moment that everyone can celebrate who is a fan of the blue and orange. We hope you watching at home, watching at work, wherever you are, we hope you've been enjoying this as well. We appreciate you sticking with us, because if you've been with us, you know that things haven't been on time, and that's not our fault. That's just the nature of the beast. More than 1 million people, New York Knicks team, got to keep everybody safe, especially those players, especially the fans. Like Marshall has been telling us, more than 10,000 police officers keeping everything organized. So the parade was scheduled to begin at 10, started a little bit closer to 10:30. They're supposed to begin the City Hall ceremony around noon, which it is here on the East Coast, just past 12 o'clock. So I would probably guess in the next 20 or 25 minutes or so, we should start to see some more developments and then get those fantastic championship parade speeches. I know everyone's excited for that, hearing Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns. And producer Jeb Goldman was going to ask him if you don't mind just putting up the audio a little bit, just because, again, this has been hour 2 of the parade, and these fans have been here, some since 2:30 a.m., most since 4, 5, 6 a.m., and just still the energy. And these buses have been in a holding pattern for a little while now. And Jed, they're still energetic. They're still so excited. You would think, as a neutral observer, if you're watching, why stay? But that's what sports does to a city, especially a city like New York, especially the New York Knicks, where basketball is so big. I mean, their home arena, Madison Square Garden, regarded as the mecca of basketball, greatest arena for sports, for that sport in the country. And they waited 53 years, and they're going to enjoy every single second of this celebration. And I saw that Knicks fans were saying they didn't want to sweep the Spurs in the series so they could win in 5 games. One finals game win for each of the 5 boroughs in the city. Which is a great spin zone. Again, we have not seen any of the players in a little while, which usually means they're getting ready for that City Hall ceremony. And we do want to go back to a talking point that we were discussing at the beginning of the live stream. Most watched final series since 1998. 20.6 million viewers averaging every single night of the finals. Most watched Game 5 since 1998. Peaked at 33 million watching the Knicks close it out against the San Antonio Spurs in San Antonio to win the 2026 NBA Finals in 5 games. The Knicks also beat the Spurs in the NBA Cup Championship. That was back in December. Our finals preview. You just didn't know it yet. The Knicks becoming the first team in NBA history with no member on the starting 5 drafted by the team, winning a championship to make that historical record. We'll probably see that on future NBA broadcasts for years to come, which is pretty rare to do if you think about in the NBA compared to other sports. If you get one great rookie, one great draft pick, they can be the leader of your team for a number of years. But as Marshall was kind of hinting at a few minutes ago when we checked in with him, the Knicks kind of whiffed at a lot of those draft picks. So they had to go out through trades, through free agency signings, and build their team around Jalen Brunson, who came to New York from Dallas in 2022. Josh Hart coming in a trade from the Pelicans the year after that. OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns in 2024. OG signed as a free agent. Karl Anthony Towns part of that trade. Coming from Minnesota, Julius Randle leaving New York to make room. Jose Alvarado, the backup point guard, like Josh Hart, coming from the New Orleans Pelicans midseason trade this year. The lone Knick drafted, who had a serviceable impact in this postseason run, Mitchell Robinson, 2018. All you Knick fans out there who remember those teams, 2018 up until probably 2023, you realize he has been through it all, seen the lows, and is now enjoying the highs. I missed the banner for this band. Not sure if this is our District 31 school band or not, but they are keeping the fans entertained and energized. Do you want some housekeeping notes, even though if you don't live in New York City, you might think this is interesting. No evictions today in the city. The city waived all tenant evictions because of how crazy the parade was going to be. So some civil services being interrupted by the massive scale and celebration of this parade. This comeback Knicks identity started last postseason when they had multiple double-digit comeback wins in the second half against the Boston Celtics. Unable to advance to the finals a year ago, but they learned from those mistakes this year. Down 2-1 against the Atlanta Hawks in the opening round. Won 3 straight. Won 4 straight against the 76ers. 4 straight against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Ending up winning 13 straight postseason games. And then, of course, Game 4, the highlight of their comeback mentality, erasing a 29-point deficit in the second half against the Spurs. OG Anunoby with that tip-in with 1.2 seconds left off a Jalen Brunson missed three-pointer. Instead of it being a 2-2 series going back to San Antonio and the Spurs with the momentum, 3-1 Knicks. They closed it out by erasing, you guessed it, another double-digit deficit in that closeout Game 5 in San Antonio. Buses starting to roll along the Canyon of Heroes at the corner of Murray and Broadway in Lower Manhattan. I do hope we see more of Carmelo Anthony. I know Marshall was talking about those really tough teams in the 2000s and even just a few years ago, but Carmelo Anthony really the bright spot for a lot of the bad happening with the organization. And we did get one glimpse of him on one of the floats, but that was it. So we hope at the City Hall celebration, when maybe it's a little bit more organized, maybe we get to hear from Carmelo Anthony, New York Knicks great. Again, as we wait for that ceremony to begin at City Hall. Not to literally rain on the parade, but what's next for this Knicks team? Well, they'll be running it back with the same core players. No big free agents. All members of the starting 5 are under contract. Mitchell Robinson is a free agent, as well as Landry Shamet. Have to expect Mitchell Robinson. He's, again, that longest tenured Knick, drafted 8 years ago. Have to imagine he wants to stay in New York. Same with Shamet. Jose Alvarado does have a player option this season. So for all you NBA fans who are tuning in, this will be the same Knick team trying to defend the title. The team has not done that since the Golden State Warriors in 2017-2018. Since the Raptors won in 2019, we've had new winners: Raptors, Lakers, Bucks, Warriors in 22, Nuggets, Celtics, Thunder, and the Knicks. Goes to show the parity of the league with all the changes to salaries, salary caps. Got to get under the luxury tax and the apron if you keep hearing that term around. Off-season moves. But it will be Josh Hart, OG, Brunson, Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns looking to defend their title next season. And now Jalen Brunson again scoring 45 of the team's 94 points in that closeout Game 5, named the Finals MVP. Where does he rank among the best quote-unquote small guards in NBA history? Of course, Steph Curry, Isaiah Thomas of the Bad Boy Pistons, Bob Cousy, Allen Iverson, Chris Paul. Only 3 of them. 4 of them have titles now. Cousy, Thomas, Curry, and now Jalen Brunson. But in modern history, Steph Curry, Jalen Brunson, both alone in that category. So if you were with us at the start of the stream, if you see behind the ambulance, those, I don't know if those are sanitation trucks used for people to celebrate on and ride on, but it looked like those were towards the middle of the parade route, or I should say the lineup of all the vehicles. Again, Sam Rogers, producer Jeb Goldman here with you. We thank you all for live streaming the coverage of the New York Knicks Championship Parade as the team approaches City Hall for the City Hall ceremony, scheduled to begin 15 minutes ago, but that's okay. Things have been a little delayed all morning in terms of the timeline of events and celebration, so we are going to stick with it and keep you right here so you won't miss a second before that City Hall celebration. It has been great to have all these different camera angles to show the fan celebration, players jumping out of their buses to go celebrate with the fans along the fence. There's going to be some great photos that come out. Jalen Brunson bringing the Larry O'Brien trophy. We saw some great shots of that.
New York Knicks owner said, I guess very late yesterday, that they will not go into the second apron to keep the team together even after the title, essentially saying that he's not willing to, or he doesn't want to have to pay some of these championship-winning players exorbitant amounts of money and pay crazy taxes on it. So I do think this team will look a little different next year. Now we've seen that with lots of championship teams. This isn't a Knicks-specific thing, but I think that also adds value to some of the players on this team who now don't know who will be deemed excess requirements, and some of even their big names have been in trade rumors. It's an interesting dynamic. That's the NBA does it different than anybody else. There is no true salary cap. It's how much money are you willing to throw at the team, at the players, to keep everybody there. But I think it's details like that that make this parade so much more impactful for the players and the fans. You know, everyone's going to have emotional connections with the folks who actually brought this title to New York. Very interesting information coming from the head of
and also with the new draft lottery and the work by the league office to eliminate tanking or alleged tanking for draft picks. So it's going to be very hard for any modern team to form a dynasty or win back-to-back championships. But the DNA of this team, led by Jalen Brunson, they have the makeup and the DNA to do it. But today it's all about what they just accomplished a few days ago in San Antonio, winning their first title in 53 years. First one since 1973. We saw Walt Frazier was the Grand Marshal in this parade, kicking things off. Of course, Willis Reed, the Finals MVP in both 70 and 73, the league MVP in 70, passing away 3 years ago. The face of that team, more than half a century ago. We were able to see Walt Clyde Frazier keep that tradition and the history alive. Again, Carmelo Anthony, the best Knick in the modern age before this current team was formed. You have to guess, as we approach 12:30 on the East Coast, this might break a record for the biggest parade in New York City history. Winning it for all 5 boroughs, suburbs in New Jersey, Connecticut, and for Knicks fans across the country. Wherever you live, wherever you're watching us right now on the live stream, first, we thank you. Second, I can almost guarantee that you know at least one Knicks fan. No matter where you are, they're everywhere. So this bus, we're waiting along 233 Broadway, based on that sign in the background. Waiting for that City Hall celebration to begin shortly.
As we look at all the confetti on the ground there, an interesting fact, I'm going through some searching here. The ticker tape, as you mentioned earlier, hasn't been used since the 60s, even though it's a ticker tape parade. Instead, they created confetti by shredding 2,500 pounds of paper. No shortage of paper there. That is a lot of confetti. But as we've seen, I mean, it got in Marshall's mouth earlier during his live hit. Now we're seeing it at the base of these buses. It is a fantastic celebration that needs over 2,000 pounds of paper to make possible.
And just taking a quick look, the U.S. Open, the golf tournament, happening 90 miles east on Long Island. Ben James from Milford, Connecticut, tied for the lead right now. Big day for New York Knicks fans, even in New England. Not sure if Ben James is a Knicks fan, but it works. Connecticut native.
Just letting you guys know, we do have official confirmation that former Knicks players, as well as some current Knicks players, have entered City Hall to continue the next part of that celebration. So while we don't have a timeline yet of when we'll be hearing from them, there is at least confirmation that the process to get that started has begun.
Also just seen on a CNN report that Zoran Mamdani said this morning that this parade started, the planning for this parade started before the Knicks even won. Of course, you have to get everyone in the city on the same page, from police to the sanitation department, other security, bus companies, signage. They use a lot of elements that the city uses for New Year's Eve celebrations because the city expecting this to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest. event in the city's history. And now we have transitioned our camera shot. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it. We are at City Hall. Knicks dancers starting off the celebration. So as Jeb correctly pointed out, we can expect the team will be coming right out those front doors. Again, this is a ticketed event for fans, so not as many people as we've seen along the parade route all morning, but still thousands, if not tens of thousands, expected to be there. And then we are really excited. We keep teasing at it. We've been talking about it, about how excited we are to hear from the players directly, especially after a full day of fun. Been very cool just to see all these generations of Knicks fans being able to come together. It's been such a long wait.
Some pre-speech entertainment here is, I'm sure, as we mentioned before, we know the players and the owners and the various officials who are expected to speak are making their way to City Hall. You know, just getting the people going now. Those ticketed fans that Sam and I have been talking about also making their way to City Hall. You can see there's a pretty good-sized crowd for this performance right now. I imagine it's probably beneficial for folks with tickets to get there as soon as possible, as it looks like this is first come, first serve, based on the way that everything is full, and there is absolutely no word as to when they will actually hear and see the team.
We're getting a great look at the makeover of City Hall, the Go New York, Go New York, Go, the jersey number and name of every player on this championship team. And I know we've been providing some play-by-play, some color commentary, some analysis from our reporters on the ground as we see Spike Lee, who's ready for this. And once the ceremony begins, of course, that's what we're waiting for, right? We want to hear from the team, hear from former legends, whoever gets up on that microphone. So we will step away, but we will, of course, bring you those speeches and those remarks. We just wanted to get you to this moment to hear from the players themselves. We can see right on that table there. It might be hard to see on your screen, or if you're sneaking this live stream on your phone at work and your boss doesn't want to see, but those are the keys to the city. New this year, actually, Mayor Mamdani has been showing those off a little bit. Instead of having the traditional seal of the city on that key, it is the apple, of course, for the Big Apple. And the key in the early 1800s, it's a replica of the original key to New York City Hall. So that's a little history lesson for you. As people are getting settled, there's Fat Joe. Hip-hop artist, said he was in charge of getting the hip-hop crew together. Again, we are also expecting Alicia Keys to perform. All right, we are just moments away from the celebrations at City Hall. Again, hoping to hear Alicia Keys performing Empire State of Mind, remarks from city officials, the players, Jalen Brunson, Coach Mike Brown, and everybody else. But this is where we leave you, because we, of course, want to let the Knicks be the story. Jeb Goldman, our producer, Sam Rogers here. We were guiding you from the start of the parade to right now, but we got you to City Hall. This is what we have been waiting for. So thank you to everyone who's been streaming. This stream will be live, so do not worry. We are just going to step away, so you'll still be able to enjoy everything that's about to happen at New York City Hall. And also, it's a big weekend for sports as things are getting ready to get underway at New York City Hall. So thank you for watching this live stream of the New York Knicks Championship Parade.
Fans have waited a long time for a team and a season like this. And many of you wondered if you'd ever live to see the day when it would happen. But your dreams last Saturday became a reality. And this team just completed one of the most historic runs in NBA playoff history. 16-3, a 13-game winning streak, 9 consecutive wins on the road, 2 of the greatest comebacks in the history of the NBA. And you Knicks fans played an enormous part of it. Your dedication, your passion, and your loyalty through everything inspired this team to help them bring the first title in 53 years. So congratulations to you, the great Knicks fan base. And if you could take a look now at the screens on the side to watch this special video.
It's the NBA playoffs. The goal, the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
And when you got the best fans, I know all the fans at MSG at the watch party outside.
He finds some space and throws it down. The Knicks will advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. They've won 7 consecutive playoff games. A sweep. Puts it up, puts it in!
The Knicks fans, they travel, man. They're going to get hurt in whatever building they're in.
The dream season continues. The New York Knicks are going to the NBA Finals.
Shorty, what you want? I got what you need. Shorty, what you want? I got what you need.
Tied again with 7.5 to play. Jalen Brunson does it again. It's now 12 consecutive wins for the Knicks as they take Game 1 of the NBA Finals. We are seeing finals tenacity here in Game 2. This has become an extremely physical game. Towns drives in and slams it home. Stolen by Brunson. It's over. This magic cover ride continues. 13 straight victories, and they lead 2-0 here in these NBA Finals.
Win or lose as a team, my mindset's always getting better the next day.
We got to get back to work, get back to the drawing board, and get ready for Game 4.
Here on the grandest stage in basketball. And now it's time for the next battle. The pass inside, Bridges banks it home. And it's a 7-point game. Shot clock is 5. Brunson fires up a 3. Puts it in! 1-point game! This building is shaking right now. Let's try to pull off the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history. Shot won't go, rebound deflected in the